All right, everyone. We are back for episode 45 of Stub Luv Live. Wow, 45 episodes. I'm just, crazy. I see we got 25 Main Street Sports. 25 Main Street Cooperstown. We've got Golf Ticket Collector. We got Ryan's Cards, Scott Foraker. We got Tom Daly, Rob Pagan, Papa Jim in the house. We got a big guest on tonight. We got Darren Rovell. Doesn't get much better than that. And boy, oh boy, I'm pretty pumped. Darren did text me and confirmed 8:30. So we'll wait for him to pop in because I don't see him yet. I see Fav is in the house, Tickets and Slabs. Got some big ones in here. Just waiting on Mr. Rovell. Here he is. He's joined.
Yes, sir.
You are on.
I am on. I am here.
I'm going to start the show by saying Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, 2025. Amazing.
Do you know the movie reference that I made right there?
No.
Huh. Okay. Did I say maybe I said it wrong. Merry New Year. Huh?
No.
It's terrible.
What is it?
Trading Places.
Oh, Trading
Eddie Murphy.
Places. Okay, sure.
So, kind of talking about that. Let's
Yes.
start. I want to talk
This is
about
live. This is live.
This is live.
I would have edited that out if it wasn't.
No, that's fine. I want to kind of start with the St. John's in the face game. How did that go? That was awesome.
Yeah, so I was looking through, forever we had not seen December 28th, 1987, the in the face game, which just happened to be St. John's Marist. And that was where Rick Smits, of all people, who didn't score a point in the first half, he had three quick fouls and then scored 24 in the second. We had not seen any of those tickets. And I had bought a lot of like 200 St. John's tickets to look for it because, as you know, um, finding these things is the great joy of ticket collecting. And so I put it out there. I'm like, I'm looking for the Coming to America ticket. And I got a call immediately from Eddie Cull, who is the athletic director of St. John's. And he said, "Oh, our fan base has it." I go, "No, you don't. No, you don't. No one has it. Everyone always says they have it. They then look in their closet. They don't have it. They went to the game. They didn't keep it." He goes, "All right, why don't you offer a bounty?" So I said, "Okay, $1,000 each for the first three," which I think's actually fair. I didn't expect that some guy would come with a full unused. I mean, that was wild. In perfect condition, this guy John Kowalski gives me a full unused and almost a perfect stub. And he says, "Yeah, no, I was dating at the time. I had always bought a second ticket for that date and didn't have a date that night." And I'm like, "You didn't have a date that night and you didn't throw it out?" "I throw it out. Now you got to remember you didn't have a date." Anyway, he would, and I presented him with a check for $2,000. We got another guy who had a pretty good stub, gave him $1,000, and there were two others. I mean, there were two others, and so to get five when the population is zero. Now I've done this several times. I'm going to get up for a second. The my most expensive one was, when we don't have a ticket that we need, we we say, okay, this is going to be expensive, but on the anniversary, I'm going to say I need it. Right? That's like the worst negotiating in the history of man. And I did this twice. Once was the Randy Johnson Bird ticket. obviously 3,000 people, spring training, who the hell's going to, and you might not even keep it because you don't know how big it is until you actually see the highlight of the bird pulverization. I got that one. And in these situations, Howard, it's like, what is it worth to the other person? Because you got one
Right.
chance, and once you lose it, you'll lose it. The guy will maybe say, "No, I keep it," and then it is really the hardest negotiation. I think people who are just in cards where everything is liquid and what they bought yesterday, they don't understand this. So I kind of have to guess, like. Like I research what the guy's occupation is, and you need to know these things. You need to know the value of. So the Randy Johnson ticket I got on the anniversary for like 800. Did I overpay? I don't know, but guess what? There were a couple that came out after that. And then the other one is the Bobby
Yeah.
Knight ticket. Uh I paid 5 grand for this on the end. It's coming up on 40 now. On the 38th anniversary, paid 5 grand, got it immediately, sent it to what turned out to be Bobby Knight's last signing,
Yep.
and I believe you can ask Ben, who did his autograph deal. I believe this is the last thing he ever signed for an autograph signing. Um, so the fact that 5 came up is amazing, and I'm hoping that Collect can go to other campuses, team bases, and find more things that haven't been found. I mean, that those are the guys that would have it, and the
Yeah.
fact that we found 5 here is remarkable. So I'm going to keep the first 2. Might sell the other one. We'll see how that goes. But again, that's just the great joy of
Well,
ticketing.
well, I desperately need one because Coming to America is absolutely 100% one of my favorite movies. I can't say my favorite, but it's certainly top three. I actually
Well, so
pulled
so
this one.
so so
I
wait, let
pulled.
so
Wait,
we
wait, wait,
will we
wait,
will get you. We will get you. Oh, you got the Packers of Green Bay
wait, 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 wait. Show
and a
me the
big.
shirt. I'm getting a shirt. Am I getting a
Yeah,
shirt?
I will give you an in the face
Ah,
shirt.
so
Coming to
good.
America, we sold a lot of these, but the other items that I had that I was showing, which I haven't even shown all of them. So
Okay.
obviously I have a stack of money, and you can tell it's the real thing when you hold it up. See how you can see Akeem through the side. So I have a stack of real money. I have this is a one of one with the mop, so we have that. We also have I have the full costume, and it has the puff on top right there, not an M, and we have this is the full costume with the M right there, the McDowell's costume. And then we have something that I haven't shown before, but now I'm trying to figure out where it is. I have where did I put it? I have a script. I think it's right here. Here it is. Okay. All right. We have we have we have the checks that Lisa McDowell was balancing right there. They have the checks, and I was able to get before the program from the Coming to America game, which is cool. And finally, well, not finally, we have a Zamunda signed flag. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, John Landis, John Amos. And then we
Great.
have the script, which was called the Zamunda Project in the
Well,
beginning. So I have a lot there. I go deep. But so you have
wait,
it
wait,
was a
wait.
most
Can I
glorious.
see the money again? Because you got to show me the money one more time.
All right. Lisa, the boy's got his own money.
When I say the boy's got his own money,
The
I
boy's
mean the
got his
boy.
own money. She's your queen to
To be
be.
a queen to be
The queen
forever.
to be forever. Put
So,
your
so
hands
yes, yes,
together.
I
Yeah.
am a fan. I do have the ticket from the Giants of New York taking on the Packers of Green Bay when
And
the
in the
Giants
end,
kicked a oblong ball made of pigskin through a
Giant
large H.
H.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a
So
ripping
it
victory.
was a ripping victory. Yeah. So yeah. So that I'm sure you'll see one. I'll be in touch with you on that. But it was great.
You do need some soul glow. Someone just wrote, "Where's the soul glow?"
Hold on.
If you pull out soul glow,
See, it's so glue.
it's great. All right. So now we've
Let's
done the Coming to
get this
America
thing
thing.
under control.
Yeah, yeah. Bring it back on. So the last time you were on, you got the hat on again. You were just starting Collect. Give us an update on Collect. But before you do, Darren, let me just say this. Collect has been so good to ticket collecting, but so good to everything. I pulled a couple of things today. So here's an article that you guys did very recently on a sale of Jackie Robinson's a ticket to the first game he was in uniform. So it's before his debut. It's a spring training game. You guys did this article November the 20th of 2024. But then if you look, there's this article, there's this article, there's this article, there's this article. These are all articles done in the months of October, November, and December 2024, all related to ticket collecting. How can
Yeah.
we not love Collect?
And by
But
the
talk to me about
way,
Collect.
tickets are only the ticket reporting is less than 2%. So if anyone says, "Oh, you built this site so you could, for your own," even though you sell less than 1% of your tickets, this is, what we've done is we've written more than 1,000 articles. We've had more than 3 million hits. My team: Kevin Jackson, Will Stern, Ben Burrows, Matt Liberman, Steve Ziff. I mean, the whole team has been amazing, and this is exactly what we wanted to build. It's 9 months in, and the editorial is the front porch, but the back porch, or the real part of the big business, is the consultancy, which we're consulting with St. John's. I'll give you a little lead. Tomorrow we'll be announcing the Carnesecca collection, where we take Lou Carnesecca's sweater. We partnered up with Reclaim. The guy Eric and Aaron are amazing, and we have, for the first time, a college is offering high end, incredible memorabilia cards that are limited edition, that are priced right, and so we love the fact that we're going to be, consulting for people. We're going to bring back tickets. I am going to consult for a team. And I'm just making a prediction here that in 2025 we'll have all hard tickets.
Wow.
No promise, but we start with that, and
It's
so
huge.
very proud of what I
Yeah, you
built. We've
should.
built.
It's really great. I enjoy it. I go on the website all the time. I'm watching what you guys put up on IG and on Twitter. You putting up personal stuff on Twitter, but I love Will. A lot of the articles that he writes, I think, are great. Good guy, great hire, great move by you. So let's talk a little bit, because I think when Darren Rovell comes on to talk, it's one of those things people want to listen. People want to get some advice. So let's talk a little bit about 2024. I did pull some of the articles off of Collect. So it was like 2024 year in collectibles, biggest challenge facing the
Mhm.
hobby. And what you did was you went out and interviewed all of like the big names at auction houses and the big people in the sports collectible, and not just sports, but autographs and other memorabilia, all the big names, and asked them, what were the biggest challenges? And, kind of not to, I don't need to go through each and every one, but most said, authenticity, fraud, what you would expect.
Yep.
And then there were some articles that were, did the hobby improve in 2024? And a lot of people said, yeah, it did. And this was the reason why: international buyers, AI, futuristic stuff, people just wanting the best of the best. Everyone wants the big ticket items, the 10 out of 10s, the rare, one of ones. What do you think about 2024?
Yeah, I always try to have some sort of skepticism. I personally still don't understand how middle of the road game used cards, or even these logo mans, where there is actually no guarantee. I mean, have we asked Upper Deck on the authenticity of these logo mans? They, on the back, it just says it has been represented to us that they were used in a game. Is that enough to cut it out and for it to be worth $1 million? At the high end, I guess in ticketing too, and everywhere, there's only so many people who are running the high end, and you kind of have to watch that. The game behind the game is always What is the real market? Who's winning all of these things? And hopefully not the same people are.
Yeah.
And so I think it's always hard. I think the auctioneers, I think the Probsteins, the Goldens, the SCPs, they probably know more about how the market is doing because they know exactly who's buying and we don't. So and I don't know if it's in their best interest to offer transparency. I would say that 2024 was at the very least stayed the same, which is remarkable because I think 2023 was not horrible based on off COVID. I mean, these things, a lot of things could have gone to rock bottom, and we're not seeing rock bottom unless it's Zion or some sort of particular player that someone believed in that isn't. Um, uh, but yeah, no, and I think in tickets you can just look at the population. I talk to Matt Fuller all the time. Population in terms of like things that are submitted are going up. Uh, Things that have populations that are rare pretty much stay rare, which is good for us because if we invest in something because we think it's rare, we only get caught when all of a sudden there's 15 or 20 of them. But and if you even if you look at the great work that Hall of Stubs does, you expect everything that's there to rise. So all the masters, the 86 Buckner, the 87, those things all rise. So I think it's been good. I think last year was a disappointing year in tickets for the creative ticket. The ticket that's in the $100 to $300 range that, I would love to kind of go up and I enjoy. I found myself with 500 of them, and it's like, at some point you got to let some of them go. I wish there was more appreciation for some of those things. Like uh, what was it? I just got a Lionel Simmons DNP Game Boy injury. I mean, that's what we're talking. That's again the joy of ticket collecting, to get those type of things that you can't get from cards or anything else.
Yeah.
I would say that um, history had a great year, right? George Washington, in any grade, let's say George Washington is 7 or 8. You used to be able to get for maybe $7,000 in a 7 or 8, and now these things are 15, 18. Even Lincoln's, of which there are a ton of, because every single soldier who he let go, he wrote a note. Even Lincoln's have stayed steady. The eights and nines are, at $7,000, $8,000, and I think coming into 2026, even looking forward to the 250th anniversary of America, I think I'm very boffo on history.
Yeah, I am too. And I think you're right. I think a lot of that stuff is incredibly undervalued, underappreciated.
Should I bring it? Should I bring a piece of history that I've bought recently that I will unveil for the first time?
I always like
All
firsts for sure.
right. All right. Well, let's get this thing. So sometimes you're watching an auction and you might not need to have something, but it just looks so crazy. And one of the things that I've subscribed to in my collecting career is when it looks wild and people will go, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that exists." You try to buy it. You try to buy it. And so this was not on my mind, but let's bring this thing out. So it comes from a letter. It comes with a letter. Hey, Probstein. It is a letter from George Caron. Do you know that name?
Uh, I want to think it's Hiroshima Nagasaki. Am I right?
Yes.
See, I would be the only one that would know that. Yes,
He's
yes,
the tail gunner for an Enola Gay.
yes, he
Very
is.
nice.
Yes.
Okay. Japanese 100 yen note. This is his writing. Okay. And uh, it was authenticated by Beckett. He died in 1995. This note has been signed by the B 29 crews that dropped the atomic bombs on Japan. The front side is the crew of the Enola Gay, and the reverse side is the crew that flew Boxcar, with the exception of Ashworth and Barnes. An item that may be confusing in the title of the crew on the reverse side, it was the crew of the great artiste that flew the Nagasaki mission, but they used Boxcar. The great artiste was fitted with instruments and flew both missions. The crew of the great artiste flew Boxcar with the bomb. On the front side, Bob Lewis signed twice, and someone
Wow.
else who flew both missions signed both sides. I got most of the signatures shortly after the Japanese surrender, but a few were obtained later. Therefore, those were done with ballpoint pens. Shortly after the surrender of Japan, the officers of both crews went to Japan. Bob Lewis, our co pilot, brought back some Japanese currency and sold some to us enlisted men. We all got to signing them for each other, but I don't recall if anyone else got both crews to sign the same note. George Karen, tail gunner, Enola Gay. Stop screaming, Ryder. I'm on an Instagram live.
Yeah, Ryder. Wow. Wow. Now that's pretty darn cool. Doesn't get any better than that. History in your
So
hand.
just kind of a so so I got it.
So
It
this
was
has got
in
like Paul Tibbets on it, Jacob
yeah,
Beezer, all the
yes,
guys from
Jacob
Enola
Beezer. Hey,
Gay.
wow, you are good,
See, yeah,
Howard. Jesus
I
Christ.
am good. Yeah. Woo, that's
So
great.
so what was amazing about it was so then I got it, and in it, let's see if I have that or if I took it out. I think I might have taken it out, unfortunately. So in it, it had how much the consigner bought it for. So no, I'm not selling it to you, Rick. Uh, I was the only bidder on it at
Wow.
Rockhurst Auctions at $1,500,
This
and I thought it was worth about 50.
could be.
And when I got it said, Henry, whoever the guy who bought it was, bought this in 1989 at a price of $18,000. And if I find that it is not authentic in 10 years, I can return it to and it had the person who bought it. So
Wow.
$18,000 in 1989, just a wild piece. Glad to have it. And I'm going to
Yeah.
send it to PSA to get it graded.
Very, very cool. That's awesome. I love
So
it. I love
another
history.
another category that I'm kind of on. I'd love for newspapers to come along. I really would. I wish someone would grade newspapers. I think they are beautiful. They haven't really moved. I know you. I think you got a. Well, why don't you?
Dewey
You,
defeats
do
Dewey defeats Truman.
Truman.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think those are. Did you get any from the Huggins and Scott auction, like a Black Sox
I
one or
didn't.
a?
Those
Yeah.
were great ones. I should have, but I didn't. We
So, but
talked.
I am definitely on magazines.
I know.
With PSA grading comic books coming up, I think magazines will be next, and the rookie magazines are like absolutely mind blowing. Let me show you. So this is Michael J. Fox's first cover, signed by Michael J. Fox. Pretty
Cool.
insane. You have Tom Cruise's first cover in HBO magazine. Is that Molly Ringwald
No,
behind him?
that is
Who is
not.
it?
That is not.
That is not
That's
Molly
Rebecca
Ringwald. No.
De Mornay.
Oh, a risky
That's
business. Okay.
risky
Okay.
business. Billy Crystal. It's great. These are
Right.
great.
You got
Yeah.
you got a you got a Rod Stewart here. Look at that. And one that I just got is probably one of the craziest. I wanted to show this for the first time.
Uh-oh. Oh my God. That is awesome. Wow.
Congressional candidate John F. Kennedy, war veteran, November 1946. I
Holy.
mean, this
Oh.
is insane. I kind of want to open it up and read it. And I think debuts are great. I think anything that like doubts someone. So like I just saw one that sold for $710. I posted it on Twitter way back. It's the Gretzky debut magazine, and it says, "Can Wayne Gretzky make it in the NHL?"
I
It's just and it's almost like it's this is actually Hulk's debut, and it says, what does it say? Is Fred Blassie ruining Hulk Hogan's career? I mean, I mean, just amazing. What is October 80? And then in the corner, look at the corner. What does it say?
I can't see it, but women fighting, it looks like.
Violent beauties in waves of terror, apartment wrestling. Like, So anyway, I like that. I think I like tickets associated with cards. I took down these two, the Star rookie and the Jordan sticker.
It's
Um,
great. So now what
you
you
know,
need just the 86,
I
the
need the
86
April
square.
8. Yeah, I need the April 85.
Wow.
Yeah, but I like that too. Um, and I promised to talk about my Madison Square Garden debuts for you.
Yes, I saw that posted and I thought those were amazing. It's the Springsteen debut at MSG, Madonna, and then Billy Joel.
Yeah, obviously Billy Joel. So you got Springsteen, Madonna. Um, I have where is this here? I got a couple more. No, I don't know where. Hold on, give me a second here. It's probably down here.
You have too much stuff, Darren.
There's too much. I did prepare for this. So I did get. Now I can't even find it. I did get today in the mail. I did get a great one, which is Michael Jackson's solo debut at Madison Square
Ugh.
Garden, and I got it on eBay for $30. The guy did not know what it was. Very confusing. And again, this is the great part of ticket collecting. Michael Jackson made his solo debut as a guest on a Stevie Wonder performance on a ticket of an event that was postponed. So, like, literally, it's one of those, like, where the guys were trying to figure it out on the board, right? Where you spent your whole life preparing for this. So where it's like, I mean, oh, I think, wait, did I find it? Yeah, I got it. I got it. So here it is.
Wow.
It's Stevie Wonder, and if you see, it's stamped November 12th. The V and the 12 is there.
Yep, I
And
see it.
that's when he got up on stage for the first time solo. Michael, why don't you come up here? And then we got the Eric Clapton debut too.
Really?
We have that. So just I like collections. I think it's cool. And now that I got the Billy, an interesting thing for ticket collectors is the Billy Joel sticker, like the backstage sticker. There's some that are not real. There's some that are not, that are, but so it's tough. You got to look at the back. I'll help anyone who's interested, but they're out there too.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants that, and then
Yeah.
I recently picked up this bad boy.
I can't. Oh, U.S. Open. Who is it? Brooke Shields. Oh, this is from Andre Agassi's.
Right, and for some reason it came with a signed photo of Agassi. I don't know if that came with the gift basket, but yes,
Very cool.
that was a recent pickup too.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So, what's 2025 hold, Darren? I mean, where's Collect going in 2025? Where are tickets going in 2025? Where are collectibles generally going in the new year?
I don't like that there are not tickets, that there's digital tickets. I think that part of my mission as being like a shepherd of the business is to make sure we somehow get that back. Telling teams that, you're not going to lose money. If you want to print out a sheet before the season, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to buy it. And once it becomes clear that 3 or 4 events will pay for, for what you lay out, whether you want to sell it or keep it, I think more teams will do it. So a lot of times people don't get, like fans don't get to the teams, and I'm going to make sure that we do. Again, in 2025, my goal is to have one team say, we're bringing back tickets for the year. We know it might be an inconvenience for data. We might not know who's coming in, but you know what? Fans want this and we think it's cool.
Boy, that-
So that's one thing that I think I want to do. Um, so I don't like that there's no tickets. I think the want for tickets and the amount of, I think it's the most that people talk about getting something physical in this world. So there is kind of a positive about people complaining about no tickets. I feel really good about, you saw Don Mattingly debut sell for 4,300 last night. Probstein confirmed that actually went through. I think that there's that Ricky Henderson, or what was it, the sorry, Ken Griffey Jr. debut sold for 52 grand, right? So you have a full that sells for 42, and then you have it signed, and then that goes. So I'm pretty excited about. I'm wondering about, again, the middle,
Yep.
right? The cool things that me and you look for. How much can you do? Yeah, how much can you do on the middle? Because again, you have 500 on those middles, and you're like, I got to get rid of some of them, and you hate it, right? Like I'm getting rid of a Bo Boz signed, and it's on eBay right now, and it's killing me. But it's like that's a really high value ticket, but like I got to get to I want to try to get the big fish too.
Yep.
So you don't have unlimited money. I'm
I
interested
saw
to
I
see.
saw I saw Rick do a nice video for you on that today.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did? I didn't
he
see
did.
it.
Yeah, he
Thank you,
did. I
Rick.
saw it. I saw it
Oh,
on IG.
amazing. Thank you. That's great. I
Yeah,
will
he
watch
featured it.
that and put that out. I'm wondering about type ones. I personally think that market is good, except I think we got it all wrong. I don't think the big market is for photos that we've seen. I think it's for photos we have not seen, right? And you've seen these in Golden, um, where they're photos that you have. Like, I don't think the Type One of Iwo Jima should be $100,000. No one's going to go up and go, oh my God, I've seen that a gazillion times, but that's a type one. I think it's the ones that are snapshots that come out of people's cameras that have never been published before, like, which is why I had to go for the Beatles, the earliest photo of the Beatles playing, which came out of a woman known, which came out of a woman's camera that was put in her scrapbook. I think that's really where it's at, not historical photos that you've seen before. But we'll see. I think that's interesting. I'm interested to see about, as I said, comic books, magazines as PSA gets into it. I'm interested to see what happens with a lot of these cards. I don't think that Bitcoin and the rise of Bitcoin this year or in 2024 contributed to anything meaningful numbers wise in the hobby, because a lot of people didn't cash out. They're just watching it.
Right,
Uh,
right.
so that's going to be interesting. But people could buy psychologically because at least they think they have the money. I don't think that was in there. I'm hoping that Sotheby's and Christie's and anyone who's a standard auction house understands the power of storytelling and how important it is. I could not believe, both at the Grails one that they had in the church and at the Tom Brady auction, that they would just get up there and be like, lot number two is the Tom Brady
Yeah.
NFL draft workout combine, and we're starting at 30. Like, you gotta take 1 minute to say, like, this is he came and he was labeled number one, not because anyone thought he was number one. It's because his name was Brady with a B and there were no A's ahead of him. That's why it says QB number one. And he showed up and he sucked. He sucked. He had the slowest 40 of any of the QBs. He didn't throw remarkably well, and he got picked 199th. Coming up, on the 25th anniversary of this shirt represents everything. If you're an underdog out there, you want this shirt. There are guys in the audience who didn't plan on buying anything, but like that shouldn't have gone for $200,000. That should have gone for $1 million. But if you think that everyone in the audience already knows everything, you're dead.
Yep.
You're dead. Like you're only going to get what someone wrote down on a piece of paper. And I'm trying to impress to auction houses that we got to start telling the stories at the event because people show up for the action. They have money. I never forget. I saw Mark Lazary at the Fanatics Grail Sotheby's thing. And I said, "You buying anything?" He goes, "No, not really a collector." I'm like, "But if something stands out," he's like, "Something stands out." He would have never known that anything stood out because you have Patrick Ryan with his book and he knows every single comp. And then you have the other side where they don't know about a 48 leaf Jackie. You got to tell them. And when I've gone to them, frankly, they said, we have to move it along. Okay, have fewer lots.
Agreed.
Have fewer lots then.
Yeah.
Tell the stories.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, how many times do you not thinking about an event and then you watch some highlights of it or someone features it and you're like, oh, I remember that, how great it was. And then you start watching more and then it's like, hey, I got to find a ticket to that or I got to buy something that goes along with that. And it just motivates you. I completely agree.
Yeah, and then
I
you
think
tell
you'd be
the
great. I think you'd be great, Darren. That's
Well,
the
let's
next
see,
thing.
right? Let's do an auction. We've started to work with eBay. We did an eBay live, a Mets Yankees New York eBay live, and we flipped around a lot of items, which is not easy to buy and then flip around. Where I realized that Gary Carter signed the check on the day of Game 6, right? Where that's insane,
Yeah.
or that it was Deion Sanders' third Yankees paycheck. Find the story. So we
Yeah.
want to do that. We're going to do some stuff with the eBay Live. We should do a ticket only auction. That would be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I think
And then collect. We expect to work with you know New Balance, McDonald's. Like we want to make sure. And I'll give you like a little story just about collecting in general and how we're thinking about this as a company. If anyone is on who has connections to a company, part of a company that wants to use collectability to achieve virality, that's what we want to do. So, like a McDonald's example. So, McDonald's comes out with a cup series, a glass cup series that we in the 80s, like we stored it away. It was like we did not drink our orange juice in this. It was a collector's cup. So they say it's a collector's cup series. And the two main cups that they come out with is the Grimace, which was 1976, and the Pet Lovers Barbie, which is 1999. And I tell them from the first 30 seconds, you lost. And let me tell you why. Because the height of McDonald's nostalgia is from 8 years old to 12. So you have to back into this thing. You have to say, okay, who was 8 to 12? Who now has 8 to 12-year-old kids? And the only acceptable years is 1988 to 1992. Those are the only people who were 8 to 12 who now have 8 to 12-year-old kids. Someone who got a 76 Grimace was born in 1966. They're 60 with a 30-year-old kid. When are they going into McDonald's? Someone
right.
who got a 1999 Pet Lovers Barbie was born in 1990. They don't even have kids. Or if they have kids, they're not. So you have to think about collectibles and smart limited edition. And I don't, there's never been a collectibles consultancy firm to strategically think about this overtly. And we want to be that.
I think it's great. I think it's great. I have two more questions for you, and then I'm going to let you go. I try to keep these to 30 minutes. We're over 30 minutes, but for you, we'll break the rules a little bit. If I told you, hey, you know what, Darren, I have 10 grand. I want to put 10 grand into collectibles in 2025. Where are you directing me with my 10 grand?
See, I never, I, I would like to say go as deep as you can go in the thing that touches your heart the most. That's really what I would say, because uh, if you're not I wouldn't say if you're not getting into it to flip. into it to things that when someone comes over, you have to say, I want to check this out. I think some of the things that we figured out in COVID was grandchildren, grandparents are bringing grandchildren to
Yeah,
me. Tom.
some are.
Uh, I think what we learned in COVID was how important, from a psychological standpoint, collecting was. Right? We
For
didn't
sure.
learn like, oh, oh, I'm so glad that I made so much money or that my collection went up. We literally, for the mental health of all of us, getting something in the mail. Although I really do not like how many people wrapped their packages in eBay tape. My wife was like, "There are 25 packages in eBay tape." I'm like, "Can you not send it in eBay tape, please?" I got it for free. You got something from eBay for free? That doesn't work on me anymore. I think so. I think what we learned is like how important all this stuff is to our mental health. How exciting. So I would say again, uh, put $10,000 into something that is unique, if not one of one. Is you can check all the populations on things and things you can't. I might not go into it, but get something that you would love, that you think you can show to someone and they think it's amazing. And I like to pull out my collection all the time, and it makes me so
Yeah.
happy. And there's various things. You could buy a mattress for $10,000, or you could buy a story that you want to be a part of. And when I say go deep, just figure out like, what do I love the most, right? So I'm a Back to the Future guy. So we recently, I know you want to make this shorter, but I'm gonna make it longer for
No,
you.
that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We said we break the rules.
So we recently had to spring for some pieces. So we got the Twin Pines Mall sign, signed by Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. And then we got, this just came out, the largest available. The largest available. This is 1/10 scale. The largest available. Look at this thing. This thing's amazing. So just you just gotta go deep and enjoy, and
It's great.
you know
It's
tell
great.
the
It's
wife
great.
that you bought a third of what you really did.
Yes, I always do that. Last question. It's a ticket show, so we got to end with tickets. Um, what are the top three tickets that Darren Rovell still needs to put in his collection before he passes away?
Wow, I'm only 46, Howard. Fuck.
I know.
Uh, uh, and the crazy thing is the top two are very clear to me, and they're not sports.
Right. One. We know one is the Beatles ticket.
Yeah,
We know,
one is the Beatles Ed Sullivan ticket,
and then
and the
the
other is
Surfball Room.
the Buddy Holly Surf
Yeah.
Ballroom
So what's
one.
the third?
Man, I don't know. It's got to be some sport. It's not I don't want the Jackie. I missed my chance at the Jackie debut. I'm not interested in the Wilt. Uh,
You're not gonna get a Ford's Theater, a Lincoln Ford's
I'm
Theater.
not that would be the third. I'm not gonna get that. Oh man. Let me
I've
ask
stumped
you a
you.
question. Let me ask you. Can I spin it back at you?
Yeah.
Let's play how much is it worth?
Yeah.
Okay? Because this is something that I think might be educational. So Heritage recently, and hopefully you didn't see the price. Heritage recently had a Michael Jordan full red Chicago debut.
Right.
Okay? It is there now. There are five fulls, but this is the highest graded. And what do you think that's worth? Now let me tell you what my math was. My math, and I won it, okay, but I didn't need it. It just seemed absurdly low to me. If the Jordan debut in a full red is 480,000, maybe it's 250,000 now, whatever. I usually think that a preseason debut is like a tenth of that, right? And so it's like 20, it would be 25,000, let's say, and I feel like this is more important than a Peoria stub. Okay, Michael Jordan like getting on the court with a Bulls jersey for the first time versus being in Chicago Stadium, the Madhouse on Madison for the first time, and I just felt like for $4,800, that was too low for me. What's your math? How would you do the math on that?
So I'll say this to you, I've said it to you before. You know, sometimes you and I have the same tastes, which is good and it's bad because once in a while we're fighting over things, and you have more money than I do, so I lose all the time. But that's okay. But that was on Heritage. It really had no bids, and then I bid 2,500.
There
I
you
was
go.
the opening bid on that, and I'm like, you know, it didn't get another bid for a little bit, and then for a little bit more, and then for a little bit more, and I'm like, am I going to win this for the opening bid of
Right.
$2,500? And I'm thinking, this is Jordan's first time ever playing in Chicago Stadium. It's a full, it's red. I don't like Jordan, but I will take that because it is a steal. And then someone bid 2,600. And then, you know, I kind of got lost in some other things. And then I saw it went for 4,800. I'm like, someone stole that. And of course, it's you.
Yeah, no, okay, I'm glad you think the same way. I felt like I didn't need it. I am a Jordan guy. I'm a Chicago guy. It is my second city. But I just felt like, well, I'm certainly not going to get a Jordan debut now. I don't like him. I don't like it that much. I hate the Peoria debut. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, for this money, this is something that's really, really cool. Okay, glad you think the
Yeah.
same thing. Third ticket.
Why don't you hold it? Why don't you post it on Instagram
Okay,
or something?
I'll think of the third.
Think,
Do you have another question, or is that
no, that was
my last one?
that. Well, that was I think the final one. I implore
Oh
everyone
wait,
who.
I forgot to say toys. I do think that toys. Uh, a Nintendo. I have a sealed Nintendo, the second version from '87. I have a sealed wrestling ring, the Sling'em Fling'em wrestling ring. I do think sealed Hogan's are good. I do happen to have. How do I turn this? Hold on.
Oh God!
A s-
Yes, I saw that you got one.
what do you think about the Jordan hoops?
It's great. It's a little large, but it's
Have a
like,
whole. Maybe at the National, I should have a whole. You walk into a room and it's 1987.
that'd be great. I would dig that room. That's a cool room. For
Some
sure.
Ryan's card said I think the Jordan Olympics are way too low and more important and earlier than both those tickets. So there's a ton of '84 LA Olympics. I mean, there is a ton. Like I know someone who has like 100 of the Olympic Jordan debuts. Uh, I do think that if you can get Matt Fuller to agree to put something on something that was said after the game. So I'm trying to get him to put George Raveling said something after an Olympic game. He said, I don't think the Bulls know what they're getting in Michael Jordan. Um, so I think if you can get someone to say something like that, but the population is way too high on the 1984 Jordan
Yeah,
Olympic
yeah.
tickets.
I
Mike
agree.
Wright,
There's some,
my boy.
who you got?
Sorry, you got Northwestern football players in here, and Mike Wright's my boy, so say hello.
All right, all right. Well, Darren, as always, I appreciate you coming on. If anyone has not found Collect, you've got to find it. It is a must read. Darren does some videos. The reporters he's got, Will Stern, this guy Ben, whatever his last name
Ben
is.
Burrows, yeah, Matt Liberman,
Yeah,
yeah, proud of all of them.
these guys are really good. One of the guys called me to get some quotes in an article. I gave him quotes. The article was up like 10 minutes later. So I mean, these guys are really, really good. It's great for collectibles. Darren, I think you're great for collectibles. I love going to the National for a lot of reasons, but one of them is because I get to see your stuff and I get to talk to you. So
Oh, thank you, Howard.
we're
I
fun.
love everything about you, but your cat. I'm so allergic to cats that when I got the prong on my hand, the allergist said, "Oh my God, that's the biggest cat reaction I've ever seen." So if I ever go to your house, I'm going to have to be loaded up on a Benadryl elixir,
That's
but
fine.
maybe one day that will
That's
happen.
fine. That's fine. All right, my friend.
Take
Episode
care.
45 of Stub Luv Live with Darren Rovell. We're done. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
You
See
got
you
it.
soon. Be well.